Hello and welcome to the Astro Vibe of the Week. I'm Shira and I'm so grateful that you're here. So, starting this week and actually starting at the very first day of March, the big transition is Venus, the planet of beauty and love and what you value in your life, what you want more of, and also what connects you to your heart, what you desire in the deepest part of you and in your heart of hearts, deep down in your soul. Venus goes retrograde on the 1st, and she will be retrograde all the way through March, going direct at the very beginning of April. So we have this month period of time to deeply reflect on what we might want changed in our lives, in our environment, even in our physical appearance, what we want to upgrade, what we want to shift, how we want to bring in more beauty, how we want to bring in more connecting to ourselves. So Venus is in the sign of Aries, and Aries is the self. So you might want to open your birth chart and find where is the Aries house in your birth chart, because Venus will also be going through this house over this month, retrograde, asking you where you want to shift and change, what you want to upgrade, what needs some revising and revisiting. And you might already feel this subtle inner shift or this subtle little awakening of what you can make even better in your life, where it feels more beautiful, it feels more attractive, it magnetizes you and it shifts your energy. So for example, on the first day that Venus went retrograde, which was March 1st, I went into the school platform and I wasn't even realizing it, but I started making all these different art covers for all the module covers. It was like, no, I want this. I want more color here. I want more shapes here. I want more vibrancy. I want more fun. And all of these things started to come through. So if you feel this call, this like activation of what you want in your life to make a little bit more beautiful or a little bit just more aligned with yourself and what you like and what lights you up, really listen to it, really pay attention to it, and go for it. The fall of this, the demise of this might be acting a little bit too quickly. Like if you've ever had a moment in your life where you're like, I'm going to cut bangs. I don't have bangs. I'm going to cut my own bangs. And you cut them a little too short and maybe they look like really crazy for a little bit. That can happen during this Venus retrograde in Aries, because Aries is very spontaneous and it wants change very quickly. And it wants to just make things happen as fast as humanly possible. And it wants to be the first. It wants to be like fresh out of the gate. It doesn't pause to reflect on, is this the thing that's going to give me a good outcome for the long term? It's not about long term at all. It's about making little shifts and planting little seeds in the now. And there's nothing wrong with that at all, especially if you understand that, change is constant. Things don't last. That's like the most basic spiritual teaching, is that the only constant is change. And Aries loves to change. So Aries is also about the self. It's about your identity. It's about what you connect to in terms of who you are and what you want. Aries rules the first house, also Mars, which finally went direct last week, really. And so these planets have been in interplay. You may feel like you have more energy now, like there's more gusto, more forward momentum. You've got the energy to do new things. And then Venus goes retrograde and she says, okay, we've got new energy. Where do we want to put this new energy that's going to feel really aligned with our heart, with our soul. And so we have this really beautiful opportunity throughout all of March to revisit what we may have forgotten that we want to bring in, or coming into a totally new space within ourselves, within what we want, within how we want to be in harmony with beauty. That's Venus. Venus is looking to beautify. And I'm not talking about external beauty necessarily. I'm not talking about getting your hair cut, though that totally could be a thing, because you might look in the mirror and say, you know what? I want a bob, like chop it off. I'm ready for a change. I'm ready for something totally, totally, totally new. Dye my hair purple, go crazy. You go to the salon and you're like, I don't care what you do, just do it. Give me something fresh, give me something new. I want to feel new. And that could totally happen. Just know that when a planet is retrograde, it's not always advised to make drastic changes, though everybody's different. And, I think it's a one size fits one experience here on Earth. And if that calls to you, it could turn out awesome and epic. It could also be like just a little bit too spontaneous. And you could maybe go to the extreme and then potentially regret it later. But then you'd have a spiritual lesson in front of you of how you make decisions in the future. And so it's really all about the lens that you're looking at this transit with, and your perception of change, as Aries is all about change, and it's all about newness, and it's all about shifts. So throughout this month, being really aware of what it is that's coming through that wants to change and shift, that is in alignment with you. It's a super personal experience. It's almost, in a supportive way, a selfish transit, in that where you may have been giving too much energy to others, now you can really call it back, and you'll have this new shift of energy towards the self and towards your own independence and towards your own ability to change things in your life that are no longer in alignment. So all the way through March into the first week of April, Venus is retrograde and goes direct on April 7th. Now this plays out in this like long, beautiful dance as Venus goes from Aries back into Pisces in April. And we get more of a spiritual revisiting as we shift into April. And then Venus is going to make this really powerful conjunction with Neptune on May 2nd and 3rd. And this is going to be a reactivation of your insight, your intuition, your ability to envision and create newness. So Venus is doing a dance, and she's saying, what do you really want? What do you really love? How do you want to connect to your environment and your atmosphere in terms of what's beautiful for you, what feels good for you, what's going to light you up and make you happy? And then Venus is going to dance into Pisces and say, and do you feel this on a deep soul level? Have you cleared out and cleansed out everything and anything that is just not aligned with your heart of hearts? That's Pisces. Pisces helps us go to a deeper, more subconscious level, more karmic level, more spiritual revisiting. And so Venus is going to go back to Pisces. And then in May, being in Aries again, where Venus will stay all the way through the summer. Okay, so we've got all of this time. We have many months to sit with ourselves and our personal truth. It is so much about filling your own cup and figuring out and then stepping into and practicing on a day-to-day basis how you love yourself and what self-love means to you. Venus love, the self is Aries. So it's a deeply, deeply personal journey that we're going on. Now, on Monday, the 3rd of March, we have Mercury, the planet of the mind, the planet of our thoughts and how we communicate, and really what we think about on a day-to-day basis, how our mind is focusing on thoughts and information. Mercury goes into Aries as well. So now we're starting to get planets shifting into Aries, which means overall the energy is going to change in a really big way to focus back on the self, figure out what it is that we want to change in our lives. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac wheel, so we're really talking about new beginnings. And this is so aligned with the new moon that we had last week, that Pisces new moon, as we had this opportunity to clear out and do some washing away of what doesn't fit anymore in the next chapter of the spiritual journey. So as Mercury goes into Aries, again, that focus is going to come into newness and the self. And it is also aligning us with this energy of adventure and big shifts and doing things in a way that feels exciting and that lifts our energy up. Aries is about finding the adventure in life. It's about doing things that are very unique to you and your path, very individual, not following a path that's already been paved, but choosing to do something that's new. Now, anytime that someone goes on this journey of newness, where they're doing something they haven't done before, and they're embarking on, let's say, a heroic journey, a new chapter in their lives, it requires trust in yourself, and it requires that you are being brave with your life, that you are making decisions that reflect your ability to trust the intuition that comes through you, your ability to say, yes, I know myself. I know this is going to be good for me. If not for the rest of my life, for right now, right? Because Aries is the right now space. It's this here and now space. I know this is good for me. I know this feels good for me. This feels right. This is a yes. I feel it in my soul. I'm going to do this. I'm going to make this change. I'm going to step into this new potential in my life. It's a yes. All this Aries energy is going to give us that shift into more confidence, more bravery, more inner yesness, or inner no-ness. This doesn't work for me anymore. I'm not going for it. I don't want to put my energy into the past. Aries is about the future. Pisces, where we've been visiting and where we have Saturn, who won't stay in Pisces for long because Saturn will also shift into Aries, and that's coming up. Pisces is all about endings and closure and culmination. Pisces in your birth chart in the 12th house, it rules where you were before you came into this world. You were in the womb, you were with your mother, you were receiving nutrients from her in the dark, eyes closed, having to trust where you were in the time, in that moment where you're absorbing and taking in all this information. Aries is you come out and you're in the first house and you take your first breath and you go, and you make a big cry and you say, I'm here, look at me, this is me, I am new, I am on this earth, I am in this planet. So in so many ways, we are being rebirthed. We are going through a journey into our soul and into our truth. and into this new direction that the soul wants to take us in. And so it's up to us to say, yes, I trust this direction. I trust this call. I feel this. And to get ourselves into a place where we can tap into our ability to feel and know, to tap into our intuition, to be open to that. So that means that it's going to be extra, extra important through all of March to cut out any distractions, things that take you out of your inner knowing, things that cloud your perception. So that could be so many things. It could be intaking too much of information that's like triggering or activating, like the news, taking in too much television, taking in too much alcohol, or whatever the thing is that might cloud your perception and might cloud your eyes. We want a really keen vision and a deep connection to ourselves. So part of the Piscean, Saturn and Pisces is saying, do the spiritual practices that get you into your body and into your grounded presence so that you can tap into your higher consciousness and so that you can tap into your third eye. So for me, I always like to say that, doing a yoga practice, doing Kundalini. There are so many Kundalini classes I have in the free community, and in the modules, doing meditations, doing breath work, doing guided visual meditations, making sure that you are really keen on what taps you into yourself and very vigilant about what takes you out of your true center. And so for me, the spiritual journey is less about being always in the psychic realm, in the envisioning process, being in the higher frequencies, the higher energies, and is so much more about being in the body. Because when you're in your body, you have a deep connection to your inner knowing, and you have a clearer lens to see through. When you're breathing in a good way, when you're moving your body, when you feel embodied, that's the spiritual work really that we're here to do in 2025 and beyond, as we have so much of this air energy, this Aquarius energy, this heightened spiritual energy. It's like we want to be able to do something with it. We don't just want to have it floating around the air, the space. If we're really here to make change in the world, and we're really here to make the world a better, more just place, more equal place, more loving place, we need to be in our body. We need to be in our power. And Aries brings us to our power for sure. Courage, confidence, faith, and trust. That's all Aries. And Pisces wants us to ground our inner knowing into the material realm, into our root chakra, so that we can actually do something about it on this earth plane and be able to live really beautiful lives that feel aligned. Because when we're if you're living a life you love, that is a change in the morphic field of all beings and shifts other minds to allowing themselves and giving themselves permission to do the same. So part of this Pisces frequency is this interconnection where we're all interwoven together. We're all in this morphic field of energy. And what one person does impacts all. It impacts the whole collective. And that is a Pisces lesson. And the Aries lesson is, okay, you know that you have this power and you have this inner strength and this ability to make the changes that are aligned with you and to tap into your heart on a daily basis. That's Venus, to make sure that you are doing what you're here to do. And even if that's on a small scale, doing what you're here to do could literally just mean being in your body and just starting there. Okay, I think sometimes we tend to put pressure on ourselves. Oh my God, what's my purpose? What am I here to do? And that is not, you won't find your purpose that way at all. You'll just be in a loop of pressure. So Mercury going into Aries on the 3rd, you want to be conscious of the kind of things you're thinking and making sure that you're being kind to your mind. So I'm going to close it here. Thank you so much for sitting with me and connecting with me in this astro update. You can always reach out to me in the free school community, Abracadabra Astrology community, or Abracadabra Astrology School, SKOOL. And I have a Abracadabra Astrology Mastery cohort that is ongoing. So if you want to dive way deeper into your path and your purpose, way deeper into your birth chart, way deeper into your inner knowing, reach out to me through the school platform or through Instagram, That Sassy Healer, and have the best day ever, the best week ever. You got this. I will talk about the eclipses next week. The eclipses are coming. The eclipses are coming, and they're going to be good.